begin with 3 chants of Aum, and today being Gauri Habba, we will chant from the Markandeya Purana, Narayani Stuti, 3 shlokas. So just be with me during these chants. We always chant Aum, as I mentioned in the very first episode, sitting in a comfortable position, which we defined yesterday as asana, Sthiram Sukham iti asana, and with the spinal cord as vertical as possible. And Aum is made out of 3 syllables, the Akara, Ukara and Makara, according to the Mandukya Upanishad. And we would chant the A with the 3 chakras of mūlādhāra, Swadhisthana, Manipura being given attention to, U with the attention going to the Anahata, Vishuddhi and Ajna chakra, and finally with the attention going to the Sahasrara, Pitru chakra and the Guru Gayatri chakra. The last 2 being above our physical body but still within our subtle body. All of them, of course, are in the subtle body, just that their mapping even to the back to the physical is beyond the physical body. So be with the chants. After the 3 Aums, we will do the Narayani Stuti, just 3 shlokas from the Markandeya Purana. Very powerful mantras indeed. Just the sound vibrations are sufficient to engulf you in the power of Gauri, who is the cause or the source of the principle of Ganapati, or our ability to lead through all categories, troubleshoot, because tomorrow is gaNéśa Chaturti. Always the day before that is called the Gauri Habba. In particular, in parts of Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, this is a very, very important festival, as important or equally important as the gaNéśa Chaturti. So that's the reason why our focus will be on Gauri in the initial chant. Sarvamangalamangallye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambhake Gauri Narayani Namostute Srishti Sthiti Vinashana Shakti Bhute Sanātani Gunashraye Gunamaye Narayani Namostute Sharanagata Dhinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyati Hare Devi Narayani Namostute Jaya Narayani Namostute Jaya Narayani Namostute Jaya Narayani Namostute. Namaskaram everybody. Advanced wishes for gaNéśa Chaturti. As promised yesterday, we are back into a totally practical session today for Kids 8. Kids, as you know, is the kindergarten to intimately discover the self, a series that we have started amongst a few intimate seekers to exchange our sadhanas or practices so that we can benefit from each other. So we get into the practical aspects. We've been looking at the Patanjali Maharishi Ashtanga Yoga, and we celebrated Gauri today. What's the connect? Gauri, though literally translates to white, actually means fair, referring to the fairness in the sense of the judicial system, giving justice. So fairness from that aspect. So Gauri is an aspect of ourselves at the Ajna Chakra, also available as Parvati and Kali, Durga, that we have seen before as well. So one form of that, a very pleasant form, like Shambho is a pleasant form of Shiva, the innocent form. Similarly, Gauri is a very divinely motherly form of that energy of ours, if we want to personify it. Of course, in the formless, it's even more powerful and beautiful because it's not limited by the boundaries of the form. But omnipotent as it is, it can take a form, any form that you wish, and consecrate with your own prana. That's why it's called a prana pratishta, the science of consecration. Now, we will invoke at our mūlādhāra chakra, Mūla being the root and Ādhāra being the foundation, the very reason for our existence. So I've already told you, Mūlādhāra happens to be the first of the Rajasic chakras. There are Tamasic chakras below that, representing our lethargy, laziness, procrastination, basically inertia. You know, if water is kept in a particular place for a very long time, it becomes stagnant, polluted, and loses its enormous capacity. But a flowing water, like in a river, or even better, waterfalls, has enormous life in it. Similarly, we need to keep things in a flow, and the Kundalini Shakti flows from the Mūlādhāra upwards to Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Ajna of Gauri that we celebrated, Sahasrara, the Pitrus, and the Guru Gayatri chakra. Now, before we learn how to raise and lower it in a smooth fashion within the Sushumna instead of the female Ida and the masculine Pingala, which cross over at the Gauri chakra of Ajna, to go, the Pingala goes to the left brain and the Ida goes to the right half of the brain, the hemispheres as we call it. Now, before we do that, we need to invoke at the Mūlādhāra, assuming that all of us have already transcended the tamasic, lethargic nature and we are in a Rajasic spirit, full of passion for our sadhana. We want to eventually transcend the Rajasic nature as well with the gaNéśa, Muruga and Ayyappa chakras and go to the Sattvic chakras of the feminine deities of Lakshmi, Saraswati and Parvati, or Gauri more specifically today. All of that we will do in subsequent days. Today our focus will be on the Mūlādhāra so that You can celebrate gaNéśa Chaturti much more intimately today than you ever have, much more internally than you ever have. Most of our celebrations have been external, but with this yogic celebration, we will see how to invoke that gaNéśa spirit along with his consorts, that is Siddhi and Buddhi. When he takes a form, Siddhi and Buddhi are goddesses, but in the formless state that we are invoking him at the mūlādhāra chakra, Siddhi and Buddhi are the powers of that formless entity. That formless entity by itself is just stable and patient and enormously wise. Now, to put all of that stability and wisdom and patience to practice, energy is required, and that's what is Siddhi and Buddhi. And once you unite Siddhi or fulfilment, Buddhi or wisdom, along with the entity called gaNéśa, what comes out of that? In the physical form, we think of consecrating a goddess who is the daughter of gaNéśa, Santoshi Mata. And Santosh in Hindi, or Sandosham in Tamil, or Santosha in Kannada, and I'm sure in many other Indian languages, stands for contentment. Yes, once fulfilment and wisdom come in touch or contact with the leader of all categories, the troubleshooting principle, Vigna Vinayaka, categories Ghana. That's why we say mathematics is Ganita. And for that Ghana, he is the Isha, the Lord. And he is not somebody somewhere out there in Kailash. He is omnipresent as any divine entity is. And therefore, he is centered within us. And we can live as gaNéśa if we live focused on the mūlādhāra chakra. And that's what we are going to invoke today in a practical sense. Be with me. You don't need to do anything. Absolutely no effort. Just be with me with total involvement. That's all that I seek. 100% of you with this practice, and then see for yourself the amazing change in your body, the amazing change in your emotions, the amazing change in your intellectual capabilities, the amazing change in your breath patterns, and more importantly, deeply, the vital life energy and your ability to perceive yourself as you are, as the Atman. In doing this, we need to use one of the mudras that we learnt yesterday, the Jnana Mudra. I already told you, this is the individual intellect, this is the universal life energy, and when they come together, the individual intellect, the thumb, gets transformed into an universal intelligence. And that's what we will be accessing. So the so-called Chin Mudra or Jnana Mudra is very critical here. As I told, don't keep it downwards because you're pushing that energy downwards towards the lower chakras, activating your tamasic nature. Keep it facing upwards. In other words, the palm is upwards when kept on your thighs. But this is a state that we will get into during the meditation later on. Prior to the meditation, we will get our life energy in a particular wavelength, in a particular frequency. And how do we go about doing that? We have to activate the lower lobes of our lungs, which supply the power to the mūlādhāra chakra and below. Which means we have to do a particular kind of pranayama where we are bringing more of the energy to the mūlādhāra chakra than to the other chakras, so that our focus is on gaNéśa. That's what our goal for today is. To do that, just keep our hands facing downwards, because we want to push the energies of the Guru Gayatri, the Pitru, the Sahasrara, Agnya, Vishuddhi, Anahata, Manipuraka and Swadhisthana to the mūlādhāra. So all the focus will be over there. And how do you go about doing that? You keep your palms facing downwards to get the energy down. Put them on your hips, parallel to the ground. And now, don't do it as yet. Listen to the instructions first. We will all do it together. Take a deep breath, as long an inhalation as possible. Hold it for as long as possible. And then exhale for as long as possible. And retain the vacuum also for as long as possible. When you're doing it properly, you'll see that because it's abdominal breathing, when an exhalation happens, it's the abdomen which goes inside so that it can push the diaphragm up and expel all the air. And then you would see, because the abdomen has gone in, your hands will have a tendency, the palms, to go with the abdomen slowly inwards, which means you'll see a slight movement of the elbows forwards, total exhalation. And similarly, during a full inhalation, the lungs are getting filled, the diaphragm goes down, the abdomen comes out like Lambodara, and one of the names of gaNéśa, the big-bellied one. You see the happy ones, be it a laughing Buddha or gaNéśa, have big bellies because they want to contain everything inside them with an all-inclusive embrace of sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka vishwas and sabka prayas. The duty is also as important as the right. So how do we go about doing this? We will keep our eyes closed while doing this particular thing, and then we will do this according to a count that I will give for today. But later on you can do it on your own. You can maximize your inhalation, retention, or what we called as kumbhaka yesterday, exhalation, and the retention of the vacuum, what we called as the shunyaka yesterday. So that's essentially what our approach will be. So let's begin. Take a normal breath in and leave it out. Each time you breathe in, recognize that you're energizing the body in general, but the mūlādhāra in particular. So the focus will be on the mūlādhāra. And once we complete this, we will do what is known as the bhastrika, where we'll do forceful inhalation and exhalation. And the starting point is where your hands are just flexible, free, your shoulders are not tense, and you're holding the Adi Mudra, that is the thumb within the other four fingers. And I'm doing it by sitting in Vajrasana, and if you would like to do it in any other asana, that's fine, but Vajrasana is the most comfortable for that. If you're not able to hold it for a long time, you can do what I'm doing like this, just kneeling forward so that there is a blood supply to the feet, and then you can get back to it. Or you can use a small cushion in between, just below your ankle, in order to be able to hold this for a longer duration of time. So we will do 20 rounds of bhastrika, or if you will, we could deal it in terms of a shloka that many of you might know of gaNéśa, Mūshika Vahana Modakasta, which has 16 words to it and 8 phrases. And so we could probably use that as a count as well if you don't want to do 20. So today, being the eve of gaNéśa chaturti at Gauri Habba, we'll probably do it according to Mūshika Vahana count. So you see, the first step, as I said, is to keep your hands parallel to the ground, on your hips, and go with the inhalation exhalation counts that I give. The total will be similar for the inhalation plus the kumbhaka, that is retention of breath, and for the exhalation plus the vacuum, which is shunyaka. Both will be of equal duration, but how it is split between the two is going to be slightly different. So we will go in for 4 counts of inhalation, 4 counts of retention or kumbhaka, 6 counts of exhalation. So exhalation is the slowest of all of them, and 2 counts of retention of vacuum, which is most difficult for most people, the shunyaka. So that will be the least of all the 4. And we will do just 3 cycles of this for today, and then 16 cycles of Bhastrika. And as soon as we are done with that, I'll get you into holding the Jnana Mudra or the Chin Mudra with the palms facing upwards on your thighs, and your focus without any effort, just an attention, just as a witness, will be on the base of your spine between your genitals and your anus, which is the mūlādhāra chakra of gaNéśa. So you'll just observe what happens over there. Don't forcefully bring in an image of gaNéśa or whatever into it. If it comes automatically in your thought or emotion, just enjoy it, just observe it, and you would see whether you get that form or not, you will definitely get the principle that gaNéśa and his energies of Siddhi and Buddhi and his fruit of Santoshi, all of that will be on the palms of your hands as a blessing. You can recognize that not only in your body but your mind and intellect as well as we go along. So no more wasting of time. Let's get going, boys and girls. Kids, right? Put your hands on your hips, the palms facing downwards, parallel to the ground, and close your eyes. Keep your back as erect as possible, vertical. And now take a deep breath in, and you see the energization of the whole body. And as you exhale, the relaxation. I'll not talk about this energization and relaxation with inhalation and exhalation respectively every time, but you yourself can observe each time the air goes in, it's energizing us, and each time the air goes out, it's relaxing us. And both of them are equally important for us. Let's get going. Normal breath in, normal breath out. Exhale completely. Now with the count. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 1, 2. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 1, 2. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Retain, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 1, 2. Get into position for Bhastrika with Adi Mudra, the thumbs between the 4 fingers, held tightly, and the hands are left loose, the shoulders are loose, just next to the body. And when we forcefully, I will be saying breathe in and breathe out alternatively for 16 times, and each time you will do it in a forceful sense of completely evacuating and completely inhaling. And each time we breathe in, we will lift our hands up and the Adi Mudra will open up. And similarly, when you go down, bring your hands down, you will be exhaling and getting back to the Adi Mudra. If there's any confusion, you can watch me once or a few times and then you can rewind and do it along with me. Eyes closed. Let's begin. Bhastrika. Breathe in, breathe out. 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 Relax with your palms facing upwards on your thighs for a few seconds before we get into Jnana Mudra or Chin Mudra, and just observe your pattern of breathing. Let it stabilize. Even as the pattern changes slowly, every inhalation is still energizing, every exhalation is still relaxing. Different people might need different amounts of time, but slowly everybody will get into a regular pattern of breathing. Once you're into it, get into Chin Mudra or Jnana Mudra with the palms facing upwards on your thighs, firmly placed so that they don't keep shaking. Now all your attention is brought to the mūlādhāra chakra, the base of your spine. You don't need to chant with me, just listen to the chant and focus on the mūlādhāra and see what happens over there. And you can synchronize your breath with my chant. Every time I say Aum Gam Ganapataye Namaha, you breathe out, and then during the gap between two Aum Gam Ganapataye Namaha, you breathe in, that is, you inhale. And each time you exhale, recognize the gaNéśa spirit, and each time you inhale, recognize the Siddhi Buddhi and the Santoshi Mata spirit. That is fulfillment, wisdom and contentment. Be with me. Hold the Chin Mudra or the Jnana Mudra firmly. Keep your attention, not forcefully, but gently on the mūlādhāra chakra, base of spine. Effortlessly. Be with me, be with the mantra, and synchronize your breath. Aum Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Continue breathing deeply as long as possible, the inhalations and exhalations. As you inhale, recognize siddhi or fulfillment, buddhi or wisdom, and santoshi mata or contentment entering into you. And as you breathe out, recognize the troubleshooting principle of your extraordinary leadership capabilities coming out and spreading those powers amongst one and all. Each inhalation, you're drawing in siddhi, you're drawing in buddhi, you're drawing in santosha, and you're exhaling gaNéśa, Vinayaka. You're inhaling siddhi, buddhi, and santoshi mata, and you're exhaling gaNéśa, Vinayaka, Ekadanta, Lambodara. You're drawing in fulfillment, contentment, and wisdom. You're breathing out your troubleshooting capabilities, your leadership capabilities, your ability to convert all obstacles into opportunities, challenges that need to be overcome in a playful manner, as if life were a play, because it is. Now stop breathing in a pattern, just breathe normally as you would. Observe the mūlādhāra still, what's happening over there. The energy and relaxation that has been generated over there is not just limited to that, it's spreading across throughout the body. The physical body starting from the toes, to the feet, to the ankles, to the calf muscles, to the knees, to the thighs, and to the hips. Now the entire lower part below the mūlādhāra chakra is energized, is relaxed, is content, is having wisdom in each and every physical cell in terms of what is coded into the DNA. The one or more kinds of qualities that you want to activate are getting activated in each one of those DNAs. The hitherto dormant ones are getting activated from their passive nature. Now move it upwards in the rest of your physical body to your abdominal region, both front and back, as well as the sides, to your chest region, to the lungs and heart inside, to the sides of the chest, to the back of the chest, Now to your shoulders, to the arms, to the biceps and the triceps, to the elbows, to the lower arm, to the wrists, to the palms which are facing upwards, to the little finger which is drawn out, to the ring finger which is also drawn out, to the middle finger which is also drawn out, to the thumb and the pointing finger, index finger, which are in a circle. Recognize the universal intelligence there. Your limited intellect, however big it might be, is still finite, nothing compared to the universal intelligence of infinity. And that's what you're experiencing now. That infinite intelligence in the Jnana Mudra. Now that spreads across all parts of your body below the neck. Now it starts percolating upwards, flowing against the pressure, upwards through the neck, to the chin, to the cheeks, to the lips, to the nostrils and the nose, to the ears, to the back of your head, to both of your eyes, and now to the Ajna chakra of the third eye, and behind it to the pituitary gland, and even behind that to the pineal gland, to the left hemisphere of your brain, to the right hemisphere of your brain. Universal intelligence, no longer a limited intellect. Now to your skull and to your scalp and to your hairs too. Now going beyond the Sahasrara to the Matru Pitru chakras, blessing all your ancestors, redeeming yourself of your karmic bondage with them, reducing your karmic balance through this conscious action of kriya rather than karma. Going further up to the ultimate Guru Gayatri, dispelling all darkness of ignorance only to get into an even darker state of dark matter and dark energy coming together. Recognize your own nothingness. Shiva, 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 Shiva. Guru, Guru, Guru. And recognize the wisdom of Mother Gayatri. Now recognize that having come out of the physical body, this can spread to our subtle body of the mind and the intellect, which is like a large balloon inside which our physical body is there. So that contentment of Santoshi, that fulfilment of Siddhi, that wisdom of Buddhi, and the troubleshooting, special leadership capabilities of gaNéśa Vigna Vinayaka are spreading beyond our physical body into our subtle body, the mind and the intellect, all around our physical body. Every small micron or nanometer is getting it into. Recognize that you are gaNéśa. Recognize that your power is Siddhi, your power is Buddhi, and you spread out Santosha not only to every part of you, what you think as you, but what you really are, the self, the Atman, Brahman, which is omnipresent, and therefore this contentment spreads to everyone around this world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. The physical world, the subtle world, and the causal world are all experiencing this happiness, this joy, this bliss, this ecstasy, this pleasure without an opposite at the level of the soul, the self. Be in that bliss and ecstasy for a moment and see how slow your breathing has become now. Recognize the synchrony of that breath with the bliss. Now slowly bring awareness to your physical body. Take both of your hands up and rub them against each other. Feel the heat. See the temperature of the palms going up. Now bring those palms over your eyes and recognize that heat, which is nothing but the blessings of gaNéśa, Siddhi, Buddhi and Santoshi Mata, traversing from your hands through your eyelids, into your eyes, into your brains, every cell of your body vibrating in that energy and spreading it out to your mind, to your intellect and to the entire universe. Now bring back your hands to your thighs, keeping the palms open without any mudra. Gently resting on the thighs. Observe yourself for a few moments, especially your breath, and how it is connected to the mūlādhāra chakra. And gradually, as slowly as you would prefer, gently open up your eyelids to see what's in front of you. I'm sure you experienced what I did as well. Jai Shri Ganesh. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.